Well, thank you, Ashley, and hello, Fancy Farm. I am always proud to spend time with so many hard-working West Kentucky patriots. Ashley, I want to thank you and the Chamber for making sure KAT is here. Who could have known that in a span of just a few short years, KAT would go from covering bailouts to actually getting one? Look, KAT showing up here is more than can be said for the Democrats. There aren't even enough of them to run Joe Biden's auto pen. But look, I understand why they aren't here. They're out searching for a national identity, which is going to be hard to find when they're afraid of being misgendered. You know, it was an honor to stand on this stage last year as President Trump's surrogate to Fancy Farm. This year, I am proud to be here as a candidate for the United States Senate. I'm running to ensure that Graves County and the rest of our Commonwealth has a voice in Washington, a voice that respects the men, women, and children of all 120 counties, a voice that will stand up for your constitutional rights, and a voice that will support President Trump's America First agenda. President Trump's second term has been a victory for common sense and a loss for auto pens and incompetence. From removing violent illegals to ensuring we're not being taken advantage of in trade deals, this president is working for the American people. And now he needs reinforcements in the Senate. In this primary, the people of Kentucky will have to decide between talk and action. For instance, Andy Barr wants you to think he's America First, but it's hard to believe him when he's voted with Nancy Pelosi 1,200 times. And Nate Morris wants you to think he's tough, but when he was asked about his donation in the primary to Nikki Haley over Donald Trump, rather than own up to it, his first thought was to throw his wife under the bus. He said, and I quote, "I got stuck with the bill for a dinner my wife attended." Nate, that's not tough. That's a night in the doghouse. Nate will do anything and say anything to run away from his past. He talks tough about deporting illegals, but the only thing he's ever sent across the border has been his company. You can't stand up for American workers when the only experience you've had with them is firing them. You can't claim to be MAGA when you build a company on ESG subsidies and DEI initiatives. And you can't claim to be opposed to woke ideology when you spent 2020 embracing the same protesters that were on my front lawn. Now, some would say his campaign reminds him of a fart. It stinks, it's unproductive, and it's a sign that the emitter is full of crap. Talk is cheap. We have to be judged by our actions, and I'm happy to put my record up against these two gentlemen any day. As your Attorney General, I stood up to the Biden administration when they tried to destroy our coal industry. I stood up to Andy Beshear when he tried to shut down our churches. I stood up for our kids when he tried to protect them from radical gender ideology. And I stood up to the mob when they tried to bully me into making a decision that was contrary to the laws of our state. And as I think about this race, I think about our boys. Mackenzie and I want them to grow up in a colorblind society, one based on merit and opportunity, not division and handouts. We don't need America built on diversity, equity, and inclusion. We need America built on merit, excellence, and intelligence. We want our boys to grow up in a Kentucky that is free from fentanyl. Nothing made me prouder as AG than helping bring in nearly $900 million to the state to fight the drug epidemic. That's why I want to work with President Trump to finish the wall and to secure our southern border. We want our boys to grow up in a Kentucky that honors and supports our law enforcement community. That's why I'm proud to have the endorsements of over 50 law enforcement officials, because they know I will always back the blue. And we want our boys to grow up in a Kentucky that preserves our rich heritage in coal and natural gas. That's why I'll be a relentless voice for energy independence. Finally, let me address the 800-pound elephant in the room. As I travel the state, I'm often asked, who will help you make decisions when you're a senator? Let me say this as clearly as I can. This seat doesn't belong to any politician. It belongs to you, the people of Kentucky. As I told Joe Biden when I spoke on behalf of President Trump at the 2020 RNC convention, my mind is my own. I'll be a senator focused on the future, not the past, focused on supporting President Trump's America First agenda and delivering for this Commonwealth, and focused on lifting people up rather than tearing them down. I will be guided by you, the people. May God bless you and God bless the Commonwealth. Thank you.